No prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common Man, common man. Challenge the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Yes!
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
You like that? You like that?
I'm a fraud.
Yes. Out of hundreds of deals that I've done.
Goodness, hundreds.
Hundreds.
Well, I read the USA Today and I read the New York Times, and I read those both every day. And I listen to music. I wouldn't really. I mean, it wouldn't do me any good to listen to talk shows, because what's great about America, everybody has an opinion. You know what I mean? But what's also great about America, you don't have to listen to them, and that's the great part.
Brett Favre that I'm tired of Brett Favre.
Multi-action offensive sets.
Yeah, I always love that one.
Touchdown! Vikings!
Quarterback quandary. Polad Pocket Protector Power Rankings.
What are you doing? Case on a deep drop, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay up. Oh my God! 30, no, 10, touchdown! Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle! Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked up on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I can't believe what I just saw, Kyle. What an unbelievable play. Yes!
Okay, calm down. Jason was picking on me.
What do you think of my defense now?
You say?
A whole lot of character. I just want to say, you doubted us, but now we're here.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the North. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Everybody loves a clown, and that would be me, the clown from Brown. I'm hearing that echoing again. It's not the signs behind me. Nobody believes it except for you and I, correct? Can you hear it right now?
Oh, yeah, it's every day.
The program director denied it. He basically thought it was the empty space in your head, that the noises were just rattling around. So they changed out microphones. That didn't work. Yesterday, he claimed, he said, you know, you kind of move around a little bit when you're talking into the microphone. So when you pull back, he said something about these video screens behind us, behind me, are some kind of, I don't know what he called them, some type of, you know,
like reflector.
Yeah, hyper reflective gamma ray type screens, and so it bounces back, and that's what's creating that. So then, if you remember, we talked about
I'd get rid of the screens.
So that's you said that after I told you. I tried to do a segment or a spot right on top of the mic. See how bad it is now?
It's worse. Yeah,
it's worse. So that's wrong. It's not right. So, but they don't want to believe us.
No.
And you know why? If it was the morning show, Nash, or Big Ticket, they would immediately drop everything and say, well, there must be something wrong. It's common antenna. Just the midday guys, they're imagining things, but we're not imagining it. It's there.
And it's not getting better.
And it's not getting it. I have to admit, it's getting better. It's getting better. all the time. It can't get much worse. We have so much to get to today. Technical problems here. Also, World Cup fever continues despite the fact that the soon-to-be World Cup champion United States of America team is out. Twins win. Taj Bradley, brilliant again. His second consecutive start with 10 strikeouts. However, Byron Buxton goes on the 10-day IL. Quarterback controversy continues, and all of the questions in the Athletics Viking fan survey have been completed. The survey says we'll get to all of those and others, but where do we start? Only the Wheel of Topic can tell us.
Wheel of Topic!
Commons Golf Game.
I had an experience that was not unlike that of a PGA Tour player today.
What'd you shoot today?
74.
Where'd we play?
Loggers Trail.
Where'd you hit it on one?
Right up the gut.
How far from the green was it?
Couldn't see the flag. They had a blue flag. It was so wet out there that it was like, it was soaking wet, and it just like was grasping onto the, it was so limp and so wet that you couldn't see the flag. I didn't think the pin was in there. So what I did was I just said, well, I know that's about 135 yards.
Second shot?
Well, I hit it just short.
Then what?
I couldn't get up and down.
Then what?
Made par on 2, hit it in the water in 3. I had to get a 10-foot putt to save double. So I was 3 over through 3 and finished the day 2 over par. And that's the worst I could have shot. I had, Brett Blakemore was there. If you want to bring him on and interview him about it as an eyewitness, he said, I thought it was preposterous when you said you putted better than 75% of the tour pros. He goes, today you're putting better than 95%. And I had 25 putts today. 25. I mean, I couldn't miss.
You've got to be kidding me.
I did miss an 8-footer that's why this round could have been better. I missed an 8-footer for par on 13, that tricky little par 3. Hit it into 8 feet there and just missed that putt. I chipped in for birdie on 14. Hit a 9-foot par putt on 15. Hit a 20-foot birdie putt on 16. Hit a 15-foot birdie putt on 12. Hit a 8-foot par putt on 10. Hit a 12-foot par putt on 11. I mean, what else do you need to know? I couldn't miss. I was doing the things I used to do that made me good. I would say that is the best athletic, other than this side of Taj Bradley. I would say winning 3-1, going 7 innings, and striking out 10 Cleveland Guardians was a better performance. I would say I was the runner-up. I won the Silver Award for best athletic performance in the last 24 hours here in the state of Minnesota. The Taj Bradley kid's really good. I full disclosure, once it gets to be about 8 o'clock at night, I start dozing in and out. So I did not see every pitch start to finish, but what I saw tended to be, this kid can flat out pitch. This team is now 2 games under 500. They're only, I believe, 3 games out of first place behind the Chicago White Sox. And I know that ain't nothing to write home about. It's a bad division. We've talked on a number of occasions that the American League just isn't very good over record-wise overall. And some people would say there's a lot of parity there, a lot of parity with bad teams, I think. And the Central just isn't anything to write home about either. But the Twins are right there. They're doing the things that they need to do to keep pace. They've won. Is it 11 of 14 or 9 of 8 or no 9 of 12? Whatever. All they do now is put together winning streaks, and it's fun to watch.
And the team that's in town tonight, we have a message for them.
Yes.
Objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
We're a game behind them in the standings, right?
2 behind them.
2 behind them, and then 3 behind the Chi Sox. So a lot of fun. The bad news is Byron Buxton, he had the hip impingement. He missed a handful of games, came back, and re-aggravated that injury, and now they put him on the 10-day IL. And again, is that considered a soft tissue injury, hip impingement, or is it bone? I mean, my guess it's like the joint part of it, and it's whatever it is, it's just not good. It's if you're a baseball player and you're swinging at the plate and you're playing the outfield, having a hip impingement's not the best situation to be in. So we'll see. But I like what I've seen so far. That what we are this series and then one more before the All-Star break. It means, by the way, Buxton is out of the All-Star game. Now, he will not participate. He's out for 10 games, which is unfortunate for him. Always nice to be there with your peers and those that have been selected to play in the do we call it the Summer Classic? I'm not sure what we call it anymore, but that was bad news. But I love the way Bradley pitches. Last night, this was odd, at the beginning of the game, each pitcher came into the starting pitcher for the Guardians, whose name escapes me. Both starting pitchers had 7-3 records and 3.86 ERAs. Identical ERAs, identical win-loss records. That would lead me to believe it was a pretty fair matchup on the pitching mound, and the Twins outdueled the Guardians. So good for the Twins. Plenty to get to. We have controversial Vikings news on the other side of the break. We'll do Peek at the Purple. 534, top of the 1 o'clock hour. Brian Oak, Rock Talk. He'll be in studio from 1 until 2 o'clock, and then or 1:15 to 2 o'clock. And then the legendary Mark Rosen will join us, courtesy of StreamYard. He'll do that from his home. Well, all of that and more coming up here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
The Common Man.
They are so good at just creating a little earworm.
Want to be at the next big game or concert? We're giving away tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival, Jack White, Guns N' Roses, Chris Stapleton, and plenty more. Enter today at KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He is Tennessee. Time for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. If you plan to spend more time outside this summer and you have an outdoor lighting or summer project, get in touch with the folks from Affordable Electric. You might need garage wiring, maybe some outdoor lighting, patio outlets, maybe power for a hot tub. Affordable Electric installs it safely, up to code, and built to last. And also, if you have any storm damage, contact them right away as well. 612-331-VOLT. 612-331-VOLT or at affordable-electric.com, affordable-electric.com. And as always, I need you to remember that Affordable Electric is, ouch, shockingly affordable. Tennessee, it's finally been released. The results of the Athletics Minnesota Vikings survey said, and none of it's much too surprising, I don't think, though I can't read the chart. I don't understand how they put this thing together. They got orange, purple, and gray. First question was, how confident are you that the Vikings are moving in the right direction? Are you looking at the chart? Can you look at it now and tell me what you see? Does it sound like 33.6% of respondents think the Vikings are moving in the right direction? Did PA stuff the ballot box here? Can that be done? It's been that ballot box stuffing has been suggested for years and years and years. It almost seems like it has. 46.3%. What does that mean? They sort of, kind of, and then 14.9% think they're headed in the wrong direction. Is that how you read that?
No. There's 5 different colors. If you remember, it was graded on 1 through 5. So that purple is 5 for most.
Okay.
The lighter purple is 4, gray is 3, the orange is 2, and then the dark orange is 1.
Okay.
I guess maybe it's a form of yellow, but.
What does it mean?
So how confident are you the Vikings moving in the right direction? 5 means you're the most confident. 1, you're the least confident.
Right. So are they
33.6% said 5. 46.3% said 4. 14.9% said 3, and then I can't read the 1s or the 2s because it's too small.
Do you think what they really meant is the question, how confident are you that you hope the Vikings are moving in the right direction? That seems more where you would have a response of 33.6% and 46.3%. So there are some people out there that responded to this survey, Tennessee, that think the Vikings are headed in the right direction. Maybe it was that 5-game winning streak last year.
So basically, if you do the math, 95% of the people put 3 or higher, which shocks me.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was
I'm not convinced they're going in the wrong direction, but I'm also not convinced they're going in the right direction. I would have given them a 3.
What I'm telling you, Tennessee, maybe it was that 5-game winning streak at the end of the year last year. That was pretty impressive, despite the fact none of those teams were any good. 3 of the opponents we beat were ranked 29th, 31st, and 32nd in defense. We didn't really have much. In other words, defense was a rumor in those 3 games. Well, the Vikings win the big game in the next 5 seasons. 62.5% said not a chance, or at least no. But 37.5% said yes, they will win in the next 5 years. I don't know if I can be that kind. This is a franchise that's been in existence for how many years now? 60, 61, 62, whatever. 1961 is when they started. And they've been to 4 and haven't been one since 77. But people, hope springs eternal, because 37.5% said yes, they will win a big game in the next 5 years.
Here's what I would say when determining whether a team in the NFL is going to win a ship in the future. The most important factor in me deciding yes or no would be, do you have a franchise quarterback?
Yeah. That would be
maybe Kyler Murray will turn into it, but as of right now, I don't believe we have one, so I would not say yes when it comes to the next 5 years.
I don't want to go through all of these. Some of them just aren't that interesting. This one is, what is your confidence level in Kevin O'Connell as the team's head coach? 33.6%. That's a 5, right?
Yes.
They're very confident in Kevin O'Connell. 46.3% say they respond with a 4. So I guess that means they're fairly confident. 14.9% are smack dab in the middle at the number 3. And then there's only 14.9%. So 15 out of every 100 respondents said they are not confident.
So like I said, about 95% pick 3 or higher on this.
Yeah. What is your confidence level in B-Flow as the team's defensive coordinator? Now, people are sold on B-Flow.
Yeah.
78.6% are sky high confident in B-Flow with the defense. Next up would be, that number 4, 5 being the highest number. 19.4%, only a sliver, right?
So 98% pick 4 or higher.
Yeah. You need to read the results. You're better at it than I am. What is your confidence level that the team's quarterback play will be much improved from 2025? You go over the results. I don't understand. I think it's a terrible, terrible graphic.
I don't think it's that hard to understand. But 17.9% said 5. 42.8% said 4. 29.4% said 3. 7.4% said 2. And then the 1, it's too small for them to put a number in it. But
yeah.
I'd have to do the math to figure out the 1.
On that question, it's almost like a trick question.
Looks like it's about 2% picked 1.
And the problem with the question, what is your confidence on the level the team's quarterback play will be much improved?
Much is a big word.
Yeah, what is much improved? I mean, I don't think it can get much worse, right?
Well, that's why, it's a tricky question, because if you just said your level of confidence that the quarterback play will improve, I would say I'm confident because I don't think it can get worse than that.
Yes, exactly.
But much improved, that's a whole nother question.
This one's interesting. Who do you want to be the Vikings quarterback of the future? 54.4% said J.J. McCarthy. Only 18.3% said Kyler Murray. 27.3% said somebody else. But I guess I understand that. I mean, if the question is, who do you want the Vikings quarterback of the future to be? You'd like it to be J.J. McCarthy, right? Because you used a first-round pick, 10th overall. He's young, he's fun, he's hip, he's now, he's with it, and wow. You would hope they didn't. You would hope they have him there. Even if Murray ends up being that guy, I know he's only been in the year 7 years, but that's still 7 years less time you have with him. Mm-hmm. And I think because maybe part of it is you just don't think Kyler Murray, it's not a small sample size with him anymore, right? That's 7 years, and we know what we have with him. He's all right, right? Would you call him? I mean, I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's all right. So I guess you'd want McCarthy to be the answer at quarterback. Does that make sense, what I'm saying, trying to decipher?
Well, it's odd because the previous question was, who do you want the Vikings starter to be in 2026? And Kyler Murray got the overwhelming vote on that. He got almost 70%. JJ got 29%. So they want Kyler to be the starter this year, but they want JJ McCarthy to be the Vikings quarterback of the future.
Confidence.
Which, to me, if Kyler Murray is the starter this year, then I don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to be the quarterback of the future.
Right.
I mean, we're talking year 3 of him now.
Yeah. What's your confidence level in the O-line for 2026? Go ahead. I leave it to you. I don't understand what they're saying.
Well, the number 5 ranking is so small that there's no number written there.
Okay.
But 4 got 39%, 3 got 42.9%, 2 got 11.6%.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem like there's a ton of confidence.
That's covering about 93% of the votes. So 1 and 5 combined for about 7%.
So what does that say? That it seems like for the most part there's...
It's mostly in the 3-4 range, so that's still optimism.
Which Vikings rookie will make the biggest impact? Caleb Banks with 35.9% of the vote. Gold Day with 26.3%, Citrus with 20%, and then after that it's 5.4, 5.3, 5.3, and then less than 1%. Caleb is a walking boot guy, right?
Yes. I mean, obviously this is going in order of where they were drafted, which is the highest percentages.
Yeah.
I will say, 1, Damon Claiborne reminds me of a Jahmyr Gibbs, and 2, I was just reading something today, a story that was done of most underrated rookie at each position in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck Demings at cornerback was listed.
Oh, really?
Of the Vikings. And he's only 0.6% here, but in terms of most underrated cornerback in the draft, they had our guy Chuck Demings.
Do you think the Vikings should still add a free agent edge rusher? 79.6% feel like they should. Is there even one available, though? I mean, that's any good.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some available.
Yeah, but I mean, is it like you or meat sauce? That's your choices at this point.
Probably some guys past their prime.
Yeah. And then this one, which position group concerns you the most? 34.5% say quarterback, which makes sense, right? After that, it's cornerback at 22%, O-line at 15.8%, safety at 10.7%. And I wonder if that safety one is skewed by not knowing if Harrison's coming back or not. We can pick through some of these as the afternoon wears on as well. Peek at the Purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, whatever they may be, reach out today. Affordable-electric.com, affordable-electric.com, or 612-331-VOLT. Back with more Common Man and 10 to be right here on The Fan.
The Common Man.
He has an innovative approach. He doesn't feel like he has to do things that only he's seen other people do.
Weekdays
KFAN welcomes some great shows at Treasure Island this year, including Joe Bonamassa.
Can't think of one.
On August 15th, Snoop Dogg. On September 5th, and Ron White. October 17th. Get the complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Sorry about that. I just wasn't prepared for it today for some reason. Because I was just going to do the same. Well, I was actually going to put a list of songs together then I decided that would take too much work, but I was going to put like a list of like 50 or 60 songs so that I could do a new one each and every day. Because feel like I keep doing feels like the first time over and over. It feels like it's like the 13th, 14th time, not the first time. So I noticed on that World Cup update we just played something about Mbappe for France. He has, 7 goals, 8 goals in this World Cup, and he's now tied with Messi or somebody to win the gold boot. So they give away a trophy for whoever scores the most goals in World Cup. Do you think that is winning that gold boot so important to some people that they'll just, it's like shoot, that they'll just shoot no matter what because they want to get the gold boot? Or do you think most teams and most individual players are team-oriented? They're not so worried about the gold boot? Because a gold boot would be a pretty good award, man. I didn't know they had that.
Well, I mean, there's a history of team sports and then getting MVP trophies for the playoffs. Conn Smythe in the NHL, NBA MVP, and I don't think they changed the way they play.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there.
And soccer of all sports, like you can't just sit there and dribble through 5 guys on your own.
Yeah, right. Do you think part of the reason the United States didn't play very well against Belgium is they were moody, like the Timberwolves were? Do you think moodiness had anything to do with it? Several text messages have come into the Brad, Sean, Bryant, KFAN text line regarding this Vikings poll of fans that was done by The Athletic. This one says, cleaning out and rearranging the front office and spending more judiciously in free agency and minding the cap is enough for me to feel they are pointed in the right direction. And that would help. Yeah, right? I mean, when you're just swirling out of control, spinning around like a top, to just kind of right the ship a little bit, the Viking ship, and say, let's clean out the front office. Let's be a little more careful with our free agent spending, and let's watch the cap. You might feel better about the direction, but that still almost seems like 2 steps backwards instead of taking 1 step forward. But I guess that makes
I would say that still doesn't show you they're going in the right direction. That just says maybe they're not going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. That's a good way to say it. Here's one that says, they should do that Vikings poll on a free platform. When it's on a subscription-based website, it has rubes that pay for the articles, and I would think are more positive on the team. That's distinctly a possibility. I do think that people that would subscribe to The Athletic, sports, their whole lives are just sports, and if they're consuming Viking material, they're for the most part Viking fans. Though what I do like about message boards tend to be is I don't know what percentage it is, but you do have the negatives out there. PA calls those people the negatives. They're out there in mass, and I love it because they'll throw cold water on anything anybody says.
They're very outspoken.
There was some guy who was, they were responding to the Krasinski piece about LeBron would be a great fit here. And they started talking about how wonderful it would be because LeBron wouldn't have to be the main scorer, right? I mean, he would still have to contribute, but he's got Lorenzo. What's Ball's first name?
LaMelo.
He's got LaMelo and Anthony, right? And then he doesn't have to be the shutdown defender on the other team's best offensive player because you got Jaden McDaniels. And he doesn't have to get every rebound because you got Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Tower. So all these reasons why, and the people were just eating it up. The Wolves fans, they were like, yeah, LeBron gets here, and they're basically counting world titles and do you like parades and that whole thing. And then one guy wrote, LeBron will spend most of the time on the IL. McDaniels will spend a lot of time on the IL. Ant will be beaten down and ground into dust. And then he said something to the effect of, we'll get into the 7-10 play-in thing and get bounced out of that. However, we will win the Commissioner's Cup. I mean, how negative is that? But you'll see that out there. So I know what he's saying about, when it's on a paid-for platform and you are a fan of a team that might make you more positive. I don't know how much different the results would be, but I think I think
there's something to that, but I would also say if you did have it on a free platform, then you do have just trolls or people that aren't even fans that just want to get people, like on our preposterous statement tournament votes, like, are some of those people actually voting for the PSD statement they believe in, or they just want to vote against some guy because they don't like him?
Right, exactly. Here's a text message that says, you can tell that Tana is a father with young children the way he's breaking this down for Common as if he is a 5-year-old. Well, it was difficult for me to wrap my head around. I didn't like the chart. I didn't like this purple with the 5s and the oranges and the greens and the yellows and all that. Just tell me. Some other results tend to be, besides quarterback, what is the area you're most curious about with the 2026 team? It does not say concerned with. It says curious. And 41.3% said run game improvement, which outdistanced offensive line play, which was at 29.6%. Christian Darrisaw's availability at 17.8%. Those three all seem to be kind of linked together, though, don't they? Your run game improvement is probably only as good as your offensive line play because they didn't add any. They drafted a guy, right? Or was it an unsigned free agent at running back? The guy that they were comparing to Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, Claiborne.
But other than that, we're bringing back 2 running backs that we had before, correct?
Yes.
So I don't know how much those 2 can improve on their own. I think they need better offensive line play. And then the better offensive line play is directly linked to Darrisaw's availability.
Correct.
And can he return to his thrilling days of yesteryear? The other one was 11% was Harrison Smith's future. And I think that's about right. I mean, I am curious about it. I don't think the Vikings' success or lack thereof, though, is directly connected to whether Harrison Smith plays or not. I think it helps if he plays, but it's not like, well, we don't get Harrison Smith back, what are we going to do? Defense is going to really struggle. I don't believe it will, but I guess we'll find out. Then there's, besides Justin Jefferson, who is your favorite Vikings player? Overwhelmingly, it's Andy Van Ginkel at 42.6%. Next up would be Will Reichert. Isn't he our place kicker?
Yes.
He's at 17.8%. You know what?
We call him Will the Thrill.
Will the Thrill would go up in that poll if he kicks like 4 or 5 game-winning field goals. If he misses a few, he'll go down in that poll. After that, it's just everybody's in single digits. Dallas Turner, Josh Metellus, Christian Darrisaw, O'Neal, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Which goes back to you just don't have a lot of superstars on the team.
That's exactly right. You made that point.
Blue chippers.
Yes, you made that point a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, and I think you're spot on. The next one would be, which NFC North opponent are you most afraid of? 52% said the Bears, 26 Kitties, 21 Packers. Do you think the 21%, because they just like you with the Blackhawks, their teeth chatter, just because it's Green Bay? And it's not even so much a fear of the team, it's the fear that they're better than you are, right? You just don't want them to be better than you are. You don't necessarily fear them as a club. It's like, oh, I just don't want the Packers to win a division and get a big game appearance.
See, now I think this is the opposite.
Oh.
I think people are scared of the Packers, but they don't want to have it show. They don't want to show that they're scared of the Packers on the results.
That might be. That could very well be. I think it's one or the other.
Because I wouldn't pick Bears.
No?
No.
What is it you don't like?
I think it was just a little bit of a puck luck year last year. I still, even though they took last place in the division, I would vote for the Lions in this spot. Yeah. I still think they have some of the guys with the most high-end talent.
Yeah. I still, I think Bears. And, I'll tell you why, because I do think Caleb Williams is going to be the next superstar quarterback. And I admitted last year I was wrong. I dismissed the impact of your offensive and defensive coordinator. I know they help, but I thought Ben Johnson leaving Detroit and going to Chicago, okay, great. Lions still have a lot of talent in the skill position, but their offense was awful. I mean, compared to what they'd been the last 2 years under Johnson, they were explosive. They were, if not the best offense in the league, one of the top 2 or 3. And then last year, I still think they had some nice numbers and they had some productivity, but not like the year before. And maybe some of that just had to do with health of the offensive line. But I think the Bears are really good. Do you feel like the Vikings organization respects/values you as a fan? 89.9% said yes. And I think they do certainly value you as a fan, because without fans, you've got no team. You need people to want to pay attention to the club, to watch them on TV, to buy tickets, to buy concessions. So, yeah, I think they do.
I think most sports teams.
Yes.
Other than maybe the Twins.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. That probably isn't a rim shot. It's probably true. Do you consider Viking ticket prices to be affordable? Not surprising. 71.7% said no, while 28.3% said yes. My guess is the 28.3%, those people are well-to-do, and price for a ticket is not that big of a deal to them. Whereas the ones that think it's not affordable are the people that are probably not making as much, right? Does that make sense? Or
sure.
Is it that simple? I don't know. How would you rate your game?
I think you could, any sport, any city, any team,
yes.
they're all expensive everywhere.
Yeah. How would you rate your game day experience at U.S. Bank Stadium last season? 48% said pretty good, but there are some things that could improve. 34.1% said perfect, loved everything about it. 15% said fine, but nothing special. 1.1% said below average and needs to improve dramatically. 0.9% said terrible. Terrible. It's a bad game day experience that the team's getting routed. It doesn't matter what you're doing for them. But yeah, again, I've gone to enough games over the years there. I go every year to the Kitties game. I've gone to a handful of others. They seem to be the same in most stadiums. For me, tend to be, and I know I'm not their target audience. And I don't know if you agree with me here, but the idea that whoever the game day the production people are that handle the audio and video, I think it's way overdone. They do not allow one moment of silence at any point in a game anymore. It doesn't seem like to me. It's always between plays. They have to have sound effects. They have to have music blasting.
The crowd meter.
It's like, and I'm sure they do their due diligence, and I don't know if they actually, poll fans on, hey, do you like music during every break? Do you like explosions? Do you like all of those? Defense. That's piped through the system to get people to say defense. For me, I guess, like I say, I'm not the target audience. All that ancillary stuff doesn't do anything for me. It's like we've had discussions about concerts tend to be. Many of these artists now, especially it seems like the solo type artists, your Bruno Mars's is, your Pink's is, your Bruno Mars's is, your Pink. They have 30 or 40 dancers on the stage. They have pyrotechnics. They have light shows. And I guess I'm against that. I would rather just give me a guy playing his guitar. Give me a 4-piece, 5-piece band and just let the music do the talking or do the singing. I don't need to have, but some people like the entire production. They like all of it. They like a good voice singing songs they enjoy with musicians that are really competent playing their instruments. And they also like explosions and light shows and all of that. And I guess the same thing goes for your games on your game day. They play music and make constantly at NBA games. And I think, do you remember?
While the play's going on, yeah.
While the play's going on. And I believe, was it a year or two ago when they experimented with a game where they didn't do that? And some of the players even said, I like it when there's music playing. So maybe they do. Maybe most of the fans enjoy that. I don't know if you do or not. I've
always liked the college basketball where they don't have it, but they might have the cheerleaders doing a chant in the back, right?
Yeah, I think I would prefer that as well. I don't need it's almost like we feel like for people to feel like they're getting their money's worth, there has to be constant audio and visual stimulation. It can't ever end. It can't just stop. Even do it at baseball games a little bit too, you know? I mean...
Oh, it's everywhere.
Just... What I always liked about baseball games when I would go when I was younger is when they... Because I don't think they did that back in the day. I just don't think when I was going to games back in my day, in the 60s and 70s, they did those kinds. You could sit and talk with whoever you're at the game with. You could talk strategy with them without having to scream at the top of your lungs. You go to a Vikings game, you cannot discuss the game with the people sitting next to you unless you're screaming at the top of your lungs. And it's like, I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. But there you go, Tenneby. There is the there was this that says, as for the final question, which we asked for any parting thoughts, here are some of the most representative responses. All I'm asking for is 17 games of above average quarterback play from whoever is behind center. That ain't asking much. This one says, excited but wary of my own hype. Well, yeah, that's why
he hyped himself up.
Well, yeah, you have to try to be more realistic about your expectations. This one says, I've realized that being a Vikings fan is not about the journey, is about the journey, not the destination. The next one says, the same as every year. I start out optimistic. The optimism waxes and wanes throughout stretches of the season and ultimately ending in disappointment. This one said, Drew Pearson pushed off. Still gnawing at them. Still seared into their memory banks. This one says, hiring Nolan Teasley as general manager feels like the most significant move the team has made since they brought in Kirk Cousins. You and I discussed it. To me, I remember the Wilfs hired a search firm to help them discover and select the next general manager. And you and I, not really even tongue-in-cheek, just basically said, well, I could have told you that. It's like we always poked fun at Jim Polad when he said how he discovered Derek Falvey was thumbing through media guides, and he stumbled across Derek Falvey and read his bio and said, well, this guy looks like he'd be perfect for us. And they hired him. You could have done the same thing, take out the media guides and go, who just won the big game? Seattle. Who's their assistant GM? Let's hire him. I don't think you needed a search firm to make that decision, but, hopefully he picked something up from and you and I discussed this. I don't know how much impact he had on the big game winning season. A lot, a little, none at all of it, who knows? But we'll see if it translates into him helping this franchise get to the places where they've never been before. This other one says, these are all with a period after every word, don't waste Justin Jefferson ever again. And I understand that because his year last, what was that stat about the youngest player, the first player to reach these amount of yards or catches or whatever in history? I mean, he was on his way in the early stage of his career to being one of the best, if not most productive wide receiver in National Football League history. That kind of went away the last couple of years, right? And
I would also say he's not that young anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still in his prime. He's 27. But you are getting to the point now where you're like, 3 years from now, we don't know if we're going to be getting this Hall of Fame level Justin Jefferson anymore. Like at some point, production can slip. And I thought Justin Jefferson was I've said this with you before, he was a good soldier last year.
Yep.
You do that for another year, I think some of the diva comes out. And, if he's putting up the same numbers this year as he did last year, I could see him in the offseason going, all right, time to move me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't blame him.
No, you're right, because you play, it's like we talked about, you play to make the pros, you play for money, and then you play to win ships. He's made the pros, he's made his money, now he wants to win a championship, and you just start frittering away year after year after year. Eventually you just say, enough of this, I want to go somewhere where I can win. We'll take a break. 5-3-4 other side of the break. 10 of your teas, please.
A big name is coming to Minnesota.
The Common Man.
He's sort of just a sensitive guy in general, and by sensitive I mean jerkwater. He's